365 Sports.
Welcome back to 365 Sports Mizzou. This is your host, Davis Wilson. This show is brought to you by Rogue Media. I'm happy to be here on this Monday morning. Super Bowl Monday. The Seattle Seahawks won the Super Bowl last night in a pretty dominant fashion. And that means Drew Lock has a Super Bowl ring to his name. And there was Power Mizzou tweeted out, Mizzou quarterbacks, Mizzou's backup quarterback university. They have Blaine Gabbert, who won 2 rings, Chase Daniel won a ring, and Drew Lock won a ring, all as backup quarterbacks, which is pretty funny. But congrats to Drew Lock. Congrats to the Seahawks. Personally, I did not want to see New England win again. This feels like it would be unfair of them to just be really good all of a sudden, after 20 years of dominance, 4 years of being bad, then they're good again. That doesn't seem fair. So happy for Seattle, and that's that. But we got to talk Mizzou basketball today because Missouri over the weekend put together one of their most impressive wins of the season, in my opinion. Missouri went into Columbia, South Carolina, played on the road and beat South Carolina. Not just beat them, but they dominated. They dominated South Carolina. They did a lot of things well that I think, fans were wanting to see. For example, like pull away. I think this team did a really good job of pulling away in the second half. They had a lead going into the first half. It was only 4 points. And I watching the game, it was like, how is Missouri only up by 4? And it was because, different things, turnovers, just easy buckets for South Carolina, and not really taking advantage of the opportunities that they had. And it was like, I can't believe Missouri's only up by 4 points. It seems like they should be at least double digits. And Missouri responded in the second half, outscoring the Gamecocks 44-29 in the final 20 minutes, paving the way to a 78-59 win. I think they did a lot of things well, and the first thing I think they did well was play defense. I think they defended South Carolina really well, held them to 31% shooting, 14% from the the 3-point line. Totally dominated on the boards. That was one of the reasons where it felt like this game should be lopsided at halftime, is because Missouri was cleaning up on the boards. South Carolina's leading rebound man was true freshman Eli Ellis, who's 6 feet tall. He had 6 rebounds. Missouri cleaned up there. The Tigers did turn the ball over a lot, but their assist numbers were great. They had 6 blocks. They're defensively, I just think they really stepped up today. Not today, on Saturday, and that was kind of the most positive thing, because we know this team can score. It has pieces on this team that can score, but seeing a game where they just completely dominate in the rebounding department, they won that 44-28. A game where they play defense, they had a total of 12 blocks and steals combined. I just think it was an impressive win, and to do it on the road. Obviously, opponent-wise, South Carolina is not the toughest team they've played or toughest team they will play moving forward. But to do this on the road, in conference play, like, this is as close to a must-win game as Missouri's had so far. Losing this game would put them in a really tough spot in terms of trying to make the tournament in March. But they went out and they dominated on someone else's floor, which hasn't happened this year. They beat Kentucky at Kentucky, but that wasn't dominant. That's a great win. That's, in my opinion, probably remains the best win of the year alongside Florida. But this goes right in there, right behind those two for me. just because you do it on the road. Especially after the road game before this was at Alabama and they got their doors blown. So to respond with the road game, they now won 2 in a row total. They beat Mississippi State on their home court and then traveled to South Carolina after kind of a week off and looked really sharp. So this is the home stretch. This is where things get really, really important for Missouri. They remain on the bubble. We'll talk about that later, but I do want to just continue to talk about this game and this performance. The first thing, watching this game, I think the first thing that I wanted to talk about was I think that it's almost what Mark Mitchell's doing kind of every game feels almost like casual. He's casually scoring 20 points in this one. He's averaging 17.5 points a game. Like, I think when he has a good game, it's like, okay, yeah, that we expect that of him. And at least for me on this show, like, I feel like I haven't talked about Mark Mitchell as much as some of the other guys on this team, which is crazy because Mark Mitchell's this team's best player. And he is such a unique talent where he's a forward, and he's not like huge. He's only 6'9", and that's tall, but he's dominating in the post. He's unguardable down there. He's a matchup kind of conundrum because you can't put a big dude on him because he's quick. Like he can get around you. And you can't put a quicker guy on him because he'll just kind of bolt through him. And I don't think I've talked about him enough, but he just is such a difference maker in this game and in every game. You can't guard him. He had 20 points. He shot 7-11 from the field, made a 3. I think that was like his 10th 3 of the season that he's made. He had 11 rebounds, led the way in rebounding for Missouri. Like, South Carolina couldn't do anything they couldn't do anything to him. He also had 5 assists. It just felt like he was involved in a lot of stuff, a lot of different things happening. And, I just think like he's becoming almost, in my eyes, underrated in terms of how important he is and what he does for Missouri. Like having a guy that can give you 18 a night, look, he's not shooting threes. He's not shooting a bunch of threes. He's not making many threes. He's doing this by getting inside and finishing, making tough shots down low. Like, he just bullies guys. And, he missed 4 free throws. It was 5 of 11. So he even left some points on the board, but, was a huge part of this game. I just feel like he's almost flying under the radar, and if Missouri makes a run here at the tournament, he's going to be all over it. He's going to have his hands in it, and just like, I don't know, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but watching him, it's like nobody can really guard him. And it's weird because he's not massive. He doesn't pose much of a threat outside. It's not like he has the most creative post moves. He's just kind of overpowering guys and scoring whenever he wants. So that was the first thing that stood out. He was great. The next thing I want to talk about was Jaden Stone. I think Mark Mitchell's the best player on this team, but Jaden Stone might be the most important player on this team. And what I mean by that is, if you remember early on in the season during non-conference play, he started out and Jaden Stone was great. He was playing well. Missouri was winning, and he goes out and Missouri keeps winning a little bit, but the way they win, it doesn't look good. It's like, this doesn't bode what we're watching, even though they're winning, it doesn't bode well for when they play tougher competition. And then they play tougher competition. Jaden Stone's still hurt, and they just get absolutely obliterated. And then he comes back, and he changes what Missouri can do. He's the scoring guard they need. Obviously, they have guys like Tio Barrett and Anthony Robinson who are two solid point guards and can kind of run your offense, but they didn't have a guy who could go get a bucket. And Jaden Stone is that guy. He had 22 points, 7 of 9 shooting, really efficient, 3 of 4 from 3. When he's not out there, Missouri really doesn't have enough offensively to get it done on any given night. Like him being out there, and I really think this is such an underrated get out of the portal because he didn't play at all last year for West Virginia. He suffered a pretty serious injury. But years ago at Detroit Mercy, and he was somewhere else before that. But he was a true scorer, and it has translated super well to this level, to the SEC, to Power 4 basketball. And he gets the rim when he wants. He's got a good mid-range jumper, obviously making threes, but he's scoring 15 points a game on 54% shooting this season. And he's also grabbing 5 rebounds and 2.5 assists. But he's shooting 41% from 3. He's actually shooting 40, 50, 76.7. So not 40, 50, 90, but a really efficient scorer. He continues to kind of power this offense, because when you just have Mark Mitchell as your guy who's scoring, he'll continue to score, but without anyone else who can really get their own bucket, the offense feels very stale. And that's what happened against Illinois and Kansas and even Notre Dame. Like, there just wasn't enough happening. And so he really does give you another guy who can just go score whenever. And that's huge. So I think he is the most important piece to this team. When he is healthy, this team is completely different. When he is making shots, this team is completely different. And the scoring tandem of Mark Mitchell and Jaden Stone, it's two guys who do very different things, and they complement each other pretty well. And so I've had a lot of fun watching them. And this was kind of they combined for 42 points between the two of them in this game, which is over half of what Missouri was able to do on the scoreboard. So that needs to continue to click. But it's been a lot of fun watching Jaden Stone score. My next note I had while watching this game, Tio Barrett has been he's been incredible. He has been incredible. He really has. And he's not perfect. He's by no means perfect. I think he needs to work on his jump shot, develop be more of a threat from behind the arc. But he is such a tough player. And I remember last year he would come in and spot minutes, and he would hustle really hard and play good defense. But this year he has kind of unlocked another level of being a point guard. He is aggressive on both sides of the ball, but I'm talking offense right now. Like, he gets the basket. He's maybe the best guard Missouri has at just getting to the rim, because he can't really rely on his jump shot like a Jaden Stone can if he has to. Tio Barrett's shot can continue to improve. But, man, he gets to the rim almost whenever he wants. And he had 7 rebounds as well. I feel like he's just a scrappy player that is playing at 100% every minute he's on the court. He's taken over Anthony Robinson's minutes. He played 32 minutes in this game, started at point guard for Missouri, scored 14 points on 4 of 12 shooting. He was 0 of 3 from 3. So if you take out those 3 3-pointers, he was 4 of 9 from 2-point field goal range, so inside the arc. Was 6 of 7 from the free throw line. 3 assists, 1 turnover, 2 steals, a block. Just kind of doing a little bit of everything. And I mean, there's just such a he had a sequence where it was kind of towards the end of the game, and the game was probably already in hand, but there was a sequence where he strips, I think it was Eli Ellis, that little freshman, stripped him, got the ball, and then just bullied him to the rim, finished, talked some trash. Like, he's a fun player, man, and like, he's going to be good. I said this about Anthony Robinson last year. He was a true sophomore last year. T.O. Barrett's a true sophomore this year. The similarities feel the same, and obviously Anthony Robinson hasn't really taken the sophomore to junior season jump that I thought he would. T.O. Barrett is a guy that, I mean, I've been so impressed with him. And, I mean, he's needed to be good because, like I said, Anthony Robinson hasn't quite been there. And that he was, I mean, I remember before the season started, I said Anthony Robinson was going to be this team's most important player. And he hasn't been there. And T.O. Barrett has done a really good job of kind of stepping up for his team and being the point guard, the aggressive point guard, you know, still very defensive minded. Like I said, he had 2 steals and a block. You know, he kind of hounds guys. And, you know, he makes mistakes. He takes some bad shots here and there. He doesn't, I don't know. Sometimes he commits a silly foul. He had 4 fouls in this one. But, man, I've been impressed with what T.O. Barrett's done this season. And if he can continue to kind of improve and get better as this final stretch comes up, I think Missouri can make a case for itself in the tournament. Guys I haven't mentioned, Trent Pierce played 34 minutes, scored 8 points on 3 of 9 shooting. He had 5 rebounds. Sean Phillips played 14 minutes, had 5 points on 7 rebounds. He's kind of a guy where it feels very matchup dependent. Like, if they have a real big dude they got to deal with, it seems like he plays more. He did have 2 blocks in his 14 minutes, so that's good. He had 4 offensive rebounds. He's starting to rebound better. Let's see. Anthony Robinson Jr. played 22 minutes, scored 6 points, had a tough and one early on, but ended up 2 of 7 from the field and 1 of 2 from the free throw line. I guess that wasn't an and one. I don't remember. He had a couple tough buckets though, and I don't know. It seems like his confidence, at least, maybe feels like it could be returning. And then Jacob Cruz, 21 points, 3 points. 21 minutes, 3 points, 1 of 2 from the field, 1 of 1 from the 3-point line. He had 8 rebounds, though, in 21 minutes. So a really nice effort from him on the glass. Missouri shot 46% from the field, 37% from 3, 70% from the free throw line. Still is not very good, but it's better than what we were seeing them do earlier. Had 44 rebounds compared to South Carolina's 28, had 16 assists, did turn the ball over 14 times. That kind of held them back in the first half, but they got it together in the second. 6 steals, 6 blocks, 16 offensive rebounds, 28 defensive rebounds, 18 personal fouls. Missouri wins this game 78-59. Impressive win. Really impressive win. Missouri remains on the road. Will take on Texas A&M. Let's see. That would be on Wednesday, right? The 9th, I think, is a Wednesday. They go to College Station. I will talk about that next.
Super Bowl 60 deserves a sportsbook built for the moment. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 60, puts you right in the center of the biggest game of the year. And when anything can happen during the Super Bowl, DraftKings has your back with early exit. If a player goes down in the first half, you still get paid out in cash immediately once your bet settles. No bonus bets, no waiting. I personally can't wait to see the matchup of the new kid, Drake May, and Sam Darnold, the veteran, in it to prove himself. New to DraftKings, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Or Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code SHOWPICK. That's code SHOWPICK to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777N or visit ccpg.org on behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas. Wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus in most states. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
Okay. Missouri has a huge week coming up on the basketball court. I mean, a massive week. To me, this is the biggest week of the whole season. And if they can handle it, if they can get out of here. Whoa, my camera's moving. Look at that. Hold on. All right. Why is it doing this? Stop it. Stop moving. Okay, here we go. Oh, my God. All right, there we go. All right, anyway. Huge week for Missouri basketball. They go to College Station to take on Texas A&M on Wednesday. That is at 8 o'clock on SEC Network. Huge game. Texas A&M is right up there towards the top of the SEC standings. They're 7-3 in conference play. They're 17-6 overall. They are tied for third in the SEC in the standings. They're coming off 2 straight losses, a 86-67 loss to Florida, a 197 loss to Alabama. This is a tournament team, though. Texas A&M is absolutely a tournament team. They've been really impressive. And Missouri has to go to College Station. If they're able to find a way to win this game, and I'll preview it more maybe tomorrow or Wednesday as it gets closer, but I'm just talking in generalities. If they're able to win this game, it could be the biggest win of the year because Texas A&M is a tournament team. Winning a game on the road against them would be massive. Missouri is still looking for more quality wins. They have a couple of them, but they need more, and this would be a big one. So Texas A&M on Wednesday, and then on, I believe, Saturday. You have to help me out here on my calendar. It's the 14th. What is the 14th? I imagine that's a Saturday. It is. They host the Texas Longhorns, so it's a Texas A&M Texas week for Missouri. This time they host Texas at 7:30 in Columbia. This is a huge game because Texas is a bubble team, just like Missouri is. Both of these teams are right there on the bubble, trying to get in. Texas, their analytical rankings like KenPom net rankings, all that stuff, Texas is much better in that department. But I think where Missouri kind of hangs around with Texas a little bit is they have better wins, I think. Like the Florida and Kentucky win are going to be big. And they don't have bad losses. And Texas doesn't have a terrible loss, but they have a quad 3 loss. Missouri doesn't have a quad 3 or a quad 4 loss. So that is kind of, I guess, how it evens out a little bit. But Texas is 36th in net rankings. They're 34th in KenPom. Texas A&M is 39th in net rankings, 33rd in KenPom. So these teams are very similar. And, I was reading today, the SEC projects as a 10 bid conference in this tournament, and Missouri is at 11th in those projections. So they need to jump somebody, and they could jump Texas with a head-to-head win. So, like I said, it's just a big matchup. It's huge. Both these teams will be bubble teams on Selection Sunday. A head-to-head is going to be huge to determine which one of them gets in. If either of them get in, like who has the edge, the head-to-head is going to be massive. So I don't know what my expectations are here. I think you have to come out of this week 1-1. And if you come out of this week 1-1, you're kind of right where you are right now. Maybe if you win at Texas A&M and lose against Texas, I guess the at A&M win would be very big because it's on the road, and I don't know, but both these wins would be massive. If you can go 2-0, like now you're in business. Now you're really, really starting to pick up some momentum as we head towards Selection Sunday next month. But that's going to be tough to do. I mean, I don't know. That's going to be really tough to do. Missouri hasn't won 4 straight games since non-conference play. They are on a 2-game win streak right now. But it'd be great if they could get hot. It'd be really big. But huge week. I think this is the biggest week of the season for them. They got to find a way to at least win one of these games, because if you go 0-2, I don't think you'd be totally out of it, but the opportunities to pick up more wins, more impressive wins, slowly kind of slips away. Missouri's rankings and whatnot are 52nd in KenPom. They're 62nd in net. In that net ranking, they're 5-7 in quad 1 and quad 2 games. That's good. That's decent, but it's not good enough. That's better than a lot of the teams kind of in their same range, which is why I think that despite their lower net ranking, they are still kind of on the verge, on the bubble. Like, for example, LSU, who's a couple spots ahead of Missouri in net, they're 3-7 in quad 1, quad 2 games. Let's see if I can find another example. I don't know. Basically what I'm saying, like Baylor 6-10. So 5-7, not bad, but they're going to have opportunities to pick up more. What I think really helps Missouri is that they don't have a bad loss. They are undefeated in quad 3 and quad 4 games. Now, bad loss, I mean that in a sense they haven't lost to a terrible opponent. The worst team they lost to is Notre Dame. Notre Dame still, I guess, is a quad 2 or is a quad 2 loss considered by net. They have not lost a game to a quad 3 or quad 4 team, which I think will be important. And I guess that's one of the few benefits of scheduling their non-conference like they did, which I think is really frustrating how they scheduled their non-conference. But yeah, I mean, Missouri on the bubble. I looked at the CBS bracketology this morning. It was updated. It has Missouri still as one of the last 4 teams in. It has them playing in one of the first 4 games against St. Mary's, which I think would be interesting. ESPN's bracketology hasn't updated yet since their win over South Carolina. On3's bracketology, which I don't know much about On3's bracketologist, so I don't know if he knows what he's doing, but he has Missouri as one of the first 4 teams out. So right there on the bubble. And these last couple of weeks, like Missouri, it's getting down to the wire now. Missouri has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games left. And 4 of them are on the road, 4 of them are at home. It's going to be a tough stretch, but it just means these games are more and more important. Rooting guide, I guess if you were to have a rooting guide for the rest of the year, root against Texas, because that is kind of your bubble team that you're rooting against. I would say LSU is another kind of one of those bubble teams. Maybe you feel like you want to root against them, but it's tough because Missouri lost to them. So if they continue to win, maybe it makes it look a little bit better for Missouri, but because that's LSU's kind of another bubble-ish team. I think you need to root for Auburn because that is a win for Missouri. That's one of your better wins. They've lost 2 in a row, which is unfortunate, and they have a tough stretch ahead playing Vanderbilt and Arkansas. But that game needs to be one of your signature wins. So maybe root for Auburn the rest of the way. Georgia, I know you lost to Georgia, but maybe root against Georgia again because they're kind of another bubbly team. So that's what I have. All right, I appreciate you guys for joining me. We're right at the 30-minute mark, which is pretty good. Not much football to talk about. Softball starting. I'll talk some softball this week. That's getting going. Baseball will get going in a little bit, and despite having, I just wish Missouri was better at baseball. It'd be so much fun, but they're terrible, and they're a terrible program. I don't really expect it to be much different, but you never know. We'll monitor that. But I appreciate you guys for listening. Happy Monday. Have a good week, and I will see you guys soon.
365 Sports.